And commission meeting now, approximately 6:42, called to order. Okay, we will stand and pledge allegiance to the flag,
We don't
okay?
have a flag.
What happened?
What happened to our flag?
Good question. I have no idea.
Face the east, we'll face Washington.
Oh,
Flag out on
so smart.
Oh, the flag out on Broadway.
Okay.
East is this,
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All
Yeah,
right.
we do.
flag's gone.
Okay,
We have a
we'll
former
continue.
detective in the audience who's the deputy fire chief. Maybe he can launch an investigation as to where our flag's at.
Yeah, what happened?
Jimmy, what do you think, Jim?
Maybe they took it down to clean it or something. I don't know. Okay, roll call. Who takes the roll call? Secretary?
We don't have a secretary because Jeff was the secretary last year, so we could either let his
Leona?
replacement take roll, or we could have
Leona?
Ms. Shine take.
You want to be the secretary? Okay, you want to be the secretary after, with our.
I don't have a sheet, no.
You, all you do is take the roll.
Just
I can
go
do-
right
I can
around
do
and
it.
say, Luke's here, Rick's here, Chris is here.
Luke Rich,
Here.
Mr. Holtz,
Here.
Christopher Mellon. Brian Deering,
Here,
That's Marge
Yeah,
Uselak, she's on
that's-
the council.
March Uselak,
okay. Here,
Ms. Felton. Sean Pettit.
I abstain. I'm here.
All right, we have a quorum.
okay, all members of the Plan Commission are present. Thank you, Sheila, for the roll call. Okay, now we are going to have, I believe it's the election of the Merrillville Plan Commission. This is March 19th, so we have our election today. Do I hear any nominations? Do I hear any nominations?
I'd like to make a motion
Yes?
to nominate Margaret Uzelak.
Yeah. Oh, okay, thank you. We have a nomination by Christopher Mellon and a second from Leona Felton Chandler?
Chandler Felton, C before F.
Leona Chandler, what?
Felton,
Leona Chandler Felton.
C before
Okay.
F, yes.
Okay, she did the second.
Okay.
Okay, do we need a roll call on that, Ricardo?
Yes.
Okay, we will go ahead and have a roll call vote, please. Secretary, take the roll call.
Mr. Rich,
Yes.
Mr. Holtz,
Yes.
Mr. Mellon,
Yes.
Mr. Deering,
Yes.
Ms. Felton,
Aye.
Sean Pettit,
Yes.
6. We have,
Do I vote too?
who's doing the elect?
Don't I get to vote for that?
Yeah, Margie can vote.
Okay,
Vote
yes,
yourself.
Okay.
yes.
7.
Okay, we have 7 votes, 7 yes.
Yep.
And no no's. Thank you. Thank you all. Okay, continuing on, now we have to have the election for the vice president. Do I hear a nomination for a vice president?
Madam President, I'll nominate Brian Deering.
I
I
will second
second.
that motion. Oh, okay. We have a motion on the floor for Brian Deering to be the vice president and a second by Leona Chandler Evans, or what was that? Felton, Leona Felton?
Felton,
Okay, can we just say Felton? Leona
Can.
Felton. Okay, we have a second by Leona Felton. Okay, we need a roll call vote, Sheila.
Mr. Luke Rich,
Yes.
Mr. Holtz,
Yes.
Mr. Mellon,
Yes.
Mr. Deering,
Yes.
Ms. Felton,
aye.
Mr. Pettit,
Yes.
and President Uselak.
Yes. Okay, it appears that you will be the vice president again, Brian,
And thank you all.
and you do a good job. Thank you. Okay, now we need a secretary for a secretarial vote.
Madam President, I nominate Chris Mellon.
Okay, Chris Mellon, How do you feel about it, Chris?
Okay.
Here, you have to be at every meeting. Chris.
Surprise.
Okay. Yeah.
You're lucky, because if you weren't here, you'd have been nominated unanimously.
Do I have a second for Chris Mellon?
I think Rick
Oh,
seconded my.
Rick, okay, Rick, you nominated the second for Christopher Mellon.
Yes.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Rich,
Yes.
Mr. Holtz,
Yes.
Mr. Mellon,
Yes.
Mr. Daring,
Yes.
Ms. Felton,
Aye.
Mr. Pettit,
Yes.
and President
Yes.
Uzelak.
Okay, it is unanimous that Christopher Mellon is nominated as our secretary.
Now you don't have to take
a Okay.
roll call vote.
Thank you, board members. Okay, we will continue on. Now we have to have the appointment to the Board of Zoning Appeals. So that is an appointment through the president or through who?
That is a good question, Madam President. I don't, Sheila,
It's
you or
the-
Ricardo
it's the
know
entire
the,
plan commission.
it's the entire plan commission.
It's,
Okay, do
All right.
we have, can I make a nomination on that as the president, Ricardo?
Presiding officer, I don't think she can.
Okay, I will nominate Christopher Mellon to the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Mr. Mellon was not at the last meeting, and I don't know if they communicated it to you. Mr. Holtz has been appointed by President of the Town Council, Bella, to be the representative to the Board of Zoning Appeals. According to Town Manager, the state rules indicate that another citizen volunteer from the Plan Commission has to be appointed, and it cannot be Mr. Holtz.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so our nomination, my nomination is in order for Christopher Mellon.
Yes,
Well, it's us four,
yeah,
but I'm already on it.
right,
Mr. Daring said he can't do it because of work.
because I work straight nights.
Yeah.
Right, Luke, you said you have travel too, right?
Potentially. I just got back in town for a meeting, actually, so.
Yeah.
Well, I remember you saying,
So,
I
last
remember,
man standing, Chris.
I remember Rich saying at our last meeting, if Christopher Mellon didn't take it, you would be glad to have it, but now Christopher Mellon.
So-
is-
I do have a follow-up question, Madam President, for Rick, who is currently serving as the BZA president.
Right,
Rick, it's you, Pete Gipp, Mr. Byers, Tim Fortier, and then,
There needed to be one more.
and there needed to be one more. Okay. Which was in the past, I think, Mr. Sylvesterwitz, right?
yes.
yes.
Okay.
He
So
has
Chris would
left.
replace Andy on the BZA.
Chris replaces Andy.
Okay.
BZA.
All right.
Coming from the Plan Commission.
And now, but as far as Ds and Rs, obviously, Rick, you're the R. Is Bill the R as well?
Yes.
He's the R as well, and then it would be Chris and Pete and
Andy
Tim.
was a D.
Andy was a D, right, so we're
Chris
replacing a D with a D. It's a
Right.
3-2 bipartisan, okay.
But I think this question came up at the workshop, is I don't think it has to be
I don't think it
It
does either,
doesn't.
Brian. It's-
split as a bipartisan. When
Yeah.
he was explaining it to us, he said there is nothing in the state rules that says it has to be made up of an even split. Not that we don't want to split it up, you know,
Yeah.
that,
Sure.
but if it came to that, you know, we could have 3 Republicans, 3 Democrats. We could have all Republicans, all Democrats. So,
And I did email Mr. Mellon, and he did ask a couple of questions, but he didn't tell me what he was going to do.
Well, he was in limbo until tonight.
Oh,
Did we get a second on Margie's motion?
Mr. Holtz.
Mr. Holtz?
Yeah.
Mr. Holtz, okay.
So, Chris, it's up to you.
Very good. Okay, Chris is now nominated to go to the Plan.
Well, we should
Commission.
probably, you have a motion, Madam President, we should probably vote on it, even though it's
Oh,
going to
okay, we have a motion
be.
on
We
the
do a voice
floor.
vote, Ricardo? On an appointment?
Yes, as long, but I think we need to have it, we have to have a public record. So as long as, is the gentleman recording?
Greg's recording, yes.
Well, should we have a member vote, each member vote too? Yes.
You can do a roll call if you want, Madam
Yeah,
President.
roll
It's
call.
your- it's your
Okay,
show.
let's just do a roll call vote and keep it safe for Christopher Mellon to go to the Board of Zoning. Okay?
All right, Chris, this is your first roll call.
Okay.
Here we go. Luke Rich,
Yes.
Mr. Holtz,
Yes.
Mr. Daring,
Yes.
Mrs. Uzelak,
Yes,
Mrs. Chandler Felton,
Aye.
and Mr. Pettit,
Yes.
and myself, yes.
All right.
okay, the motion carries with all 7 voting yes for Christopher Mellon. Congratulations,
Yes,
Chris.
thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
You thought you were
Thank
going to get out
everyone.
easy, right, Richard?
Do we have a discussion here, Brian?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Sorry.
Okay, are you through?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, continuing on with the agenda, we did the Board of Zoning. Okay, the minutes, I need a motion to approve the minutes
So
for
moved.
December 5th, December 19th. Okay, motion on the floor from Sean Pettit and Brian Daring seconding it. Okay, motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. Okay, no nos and all ayes, so motion, the minutes have been approved. Do we have any communications? Sheila, any communications?
No communications.
Okay, any comments from the chairman? Well, I think we've done good last year, and I hope to do good this year, and all the board members have done a good job. Thank you all for attending. That's my comment. Okay, we will continue on. Old business? Any old business? None? Any new business? No new business. Okay, continuing on to item 1. P1PP1-0324, WTS Incorporated, petitioner and 61st Avenue LLC. Located at 1549 East 61st Avenue, the request preliminary planned unit development approval on 4.2 acres in a C3 highway commercial zoning district. The purpose, a storage facility. Okay, Richard.
Richard Anderson, 9211 Broadway, Merrillville, Indiana. Tonight with me is Andrew Macy, who's the representative for the owner, and Steve Coughlin, who's with Boyer Construction Management out of Indianapolis, who will be the ones who will develop it and construct it. So basically, right now, the owner of the property is West 61st Avenue LLC. The proposed owner for the storage units and also the petitioner is WTS Inc. As you said, the proposed location is Mississippi Street. It's north of Menards and south of Cracker Barrel. It's on 4.2 acres, and it's in a C3 highway commercial zone. We're here tonight for a public hearing on a preliminary PUD. At the study session, I gave you out drawings, and since that time, I've realized there was an update to those, and so basically, not major, but the square footage of the 9 buildings, instead of being 102,725, is now 103,025, so we're talking about 300 square feet. And as we talked about at the study session, as part of the conceptual, it was suggested by the Plan Commission that we relocate the entrance from New Mississippi Street or Marcella Drive, depending on what you want to call it, to the old Mississippi Street. So that's basically, you can see it's actually coming off of West 63rd Street, but West 63rd Street goes into the old Mississippi Street. So that should take care of the traffic issues. As Sean has alluded to before, as far as the number of storage units, this one's a little unique because we have 54% of the units are climate controlled, including 9 10 by 20 climate controlled units. Those would be something you would store your classic car in, something like that where you could drive into it. But there's basically, so you have 46 non-climate, 54 that are. The number of units climate controlled are 340. The non-climate is 260. If you want to look at the drawing that I gave you on page 2, the buildings 1, which is next behind the office, building 2, Building 3, so you're now going south. Building 4. Building 9. And buildings 5 through 8 are non-climate. So basically, you have 9, 4, 3, 2, and 1, which have either 100% or a portion of which are climate controlled. The construction materials are parapet walls and a combination of brick, stucco, and metal siding, shutters, and the faux doors are metal. As I showed you at the study session, this is still the same rendering I actually showed you there. I also showed it to you. This is the same one that we had at conceptual. So basically, you have a nice look along the new Mississippi Street, so that it kind of dresses it up. And then this would be along 64th, so the office would be over there. The drainage is handled by the detention for the Opportunity subdivision, which Steve and Bob are working on to make sure that that's, you know, if we have to do any improvements to that, we can do that. And but anyway, the drainage would be handled by that. The hours of operation, the office hours are 9 to 6, Monday through Saturday, closed on Sunday. The gate access is 6 to 10 daily. So there's a you know, it's not all day, 24 hours a day. Construction time is about 1 year. There'd be no phasing, so it would start in the summer of 2024. And one of the things that's in the preliminary that we don't have is the traffic study, which was waived by the Plan Commission as part of the conceptual PUD approval. So basically, that's where we're at. I think Bob can probably comment. I know we're coming with our engineering, but we got some tweaking, so I'll let Bob speak to that.
Sure. Thanks, Richard. There's a little confusion on the actual plans. My first review was done on the January 31st set of plans that we had. So I made comments based on those, sent those out on Friday to their engineers, and I did get an immediate response back with updated plans that some of the comments were already addressed. So with that said, I looked through those new plans. There's just a few minor items that need to be addressed at this point. We talked a little bit before the meeting, and it appears that we're probably going to have some revised plans tomorrow. And, you know, I'll review those. If Steve has any comments, we'll have those addressed. But other than that, we should be ready for approval.
And then we try to get our letter from engineering before we actually file for final. So we'd make sure that that's all taken care of.
And what about the lighting? Is it still going to be lit up in the corridor?
It'll be lit up, yes,
Okay.
but controlled inside the site.
Very good. Okay, questions or comments, Mr. Rich? Luke Rich?
Nothing at this time.
Mr. Holtz, Rick?
I guess a couple questions. One, the lot that's just east of the office, I know it's not your lot, I'm just,
I think that's actually Mississippi Street. That, if you looked at a plat, Mississippi Street actually still exists there. The original Mississippi. So that basically is the town's.
I think what he's talking about, I'm looking at the satellite view now.
Okay.
There is a large kind of pie quarter shaped lot that borders what becomes Marcella and Mississippi, both the Mississippi that leads into your new facility.
Well, 100 feet of it is Mississippi Street.
Right, but I mean, this is numerous acres. It's almost the same size as your development here. It's a very large piece of property.
Yeah, I don't have the availability of the GIS to tell you tonight who owns it.
now that I can see, like Mr. Daring said, I can see in the bottom left-hand corner on your front page, I could see that what my question was, or at least what I was looking at, is
I did just look it up. There's a Comfort Inn Hotel there, so I don't, they probably own that entire property.
Who's it?
Comfort Inn, it's a hotel.
Okay.
Oh, so you're stating Comfort Inn owns that area?
That's what it seems like. I don't know if they own the lot in the back, but they do own what looks like a part of that lot, so.
And they would be off of the side street that goes in there.
I know you rattled off all the number of units.
Comfort Inn in Hobart.
Next time, can you, when you come in for final, can you at least list what each building has as far as the
Sure,
number of units?
sure, we can put that on the drawings for the final.
Okay.
Yep, no problem.
Chris Mellon, questions, comments?
Not at this time.
Mr. Derry?
Yeah, and I'm sure we've mentioned it, but refresh my memory, how tall are the buildings?
16 feet, I want to say, was that correct? 15.
I know that other storage facilities that have been approved recently around town, we've discussed the need for taller than usual ordinance fencing around and between the buildings. And since this is a PUD, we can vary it with no problem at all. And if you would take a look at that, let's find a way to make this plenty tall. I mean, this is it's not a hidden site. It's accessible from Menard's parking lot. It's accessible from the empty lot to the east. It's accessible from the hotel, and it's accessible from the Cracker Barrel.
And
parking lot.
and basically their plan is they use the buildings that are the
Okay, so we would go-
as the outside fence. So
Okay,
the
but
only
there are
place-
some gaps there. Rich.
Yeah, well, those would be fenced.
Okay, so we'll gap them to the height of the building, or I mean, fill in the gaps to the height of the
We
building?
could.
Okay, that would be desirable.
Okay.
You know, I know that it says, so many feet, and kids can climb them, you
Yeah,
know?
the whole goal here by putting the buildings on the perimeter
Right.
was that way you don't have to have a fence and you have security
Right.
by virtue of the building.
But like I
So-
say, for the gaps, it would be desirable.
Yeah, we can just
to,
make a
to
match.
Fill those in.
How high do
Thank
you
you.
want it?
Height of the building.
The height of the building? He's saying
does that-
15 feet,
Probably the height of the wall,
Height of the wall.
the height of the wall.
to the wall.
Right.
What is the wall? What is the height of the wall?
12, okay. Just higher than like a 6 foot.
10 to 12.
Footer, you know?
Well, let's leave it at 10 to 12, so if it varies, we're not in a
Is that
box.
okay, Brian?
That's perfectly acceptable.
Okay. Anything else, Brian?
No, I think that this looks great. Fantastic project.
Okay, Leona Chandler, what have you got to say?
I
Or
have
question?
no comment at this
Nothing?
point. Yeah, no,
Okay, Leona, thank you.
still learning.
Sean Pettit?
Hi, Margie.
Hi.
What's the investment, Richard?
Cost-wise, the investment. $9 million.
9 million? Okay.
Let's say 7 to 9, just in case we're too high.
Okay. Preliminary PUD usually has got the 18-item checklist, guys. So what you're telling me, since this happens to be in a new portion of my new ward, you're gonna be okay with this, Bob? Or is this, I mean, are these like typos on the drawings that you and I talked about the parking lot down at Silos? Or is it something major on calculations that needs to be resubmitted?
No, they've met all of the requirements for the 18. And then these are actually just minor cleanup things on the plan.
Okay.
So we'll be able to work through those.
I got them highlighted.
Okay,
I got them highlighted, Sean.
all right. We'll go over them after the meeting.
You can take them home with you.
Okay. That's all.
Okay, Sheila, do you have any type of a staff report on this?
I do. Petitioner WTS Incorporated is requesting conceptual plan unit development approval for property located at 1549 East 61st Avenue. The general location of the property is Mississippi Street, north of Menards. The current zoning is C3 Highway Commercial. The size of the property is 4.2 acres, and the property is presently vacant. Petitioner proposed use is self-storage. The approximate size of the self-storage is 93,075 square feet, in which approximately 50% will be climate controlled. The drainage will be handled by the existing detention pond located to the northwest of the property. The hours of operation will be 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Saturday, closed Sunday. The gateway access will be from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily. The traffic impact will be approximately 35 to 40 cars per day. After consultation with the Plan Commission members at the workshop, petitioner has agreed to move its entrance from the new Mississippi Street to 63rd Street near the original Mississippi Street. Engineers have reviewed preliminary plans.
Thank you, Sheila. Any more comments from the engineers? Bob, Steve?
I just got a couple small comments. I know we're at preliminary, but got Deputy Chief Lilly here in the audience. Pay attention as you guys are designing this to the hydrants access for the fire department. Hopefully you're planning to put some hydrants on site that they'll be able to access and put a fire out if need be. The only question I had, other than the minor typographical errors in here, is a dumpster location. You don't show a dumpster location on the plans. It's minor, but it's required as one of the 18 checkpoints. I don't see that. I don't see a dumpster anywhere, and you're going to have the reason I ask is because you're having an office there, so is the person going to take their garbage home with them every day? Or
Typically, they don't have a dumpster because what it does is it provides a space for people who rent in the facility to use the dumpster to dump the stuff that they have in their storage unit.
So are you going to have just regular garbage service?
Right.
Is that what you're
We
going to
do that
have?
for the office,
Just a trash can for the office?
yeah. But that's the reason you don't want
Okay,
to.
I just a question. Okay.
That leads to another question.
Right.
Typically, what I've seen in storage facilities, high-end, low-end, medium, wherever, whatever city or town it's been in, what will frequently happen is not so much on a month-by-month basis, but especially when people move out. Anything they don't want, if there isn't a dumpster in a designated pickup area, they just dump it wherever they want, and other than you guys holding their security deposit, there's no way to enforce it. And I've got a friend that has probably 900 units, and he ran into this when he first set up. And people leave mattresses.
But a dumpster doesn't solve that.
Yeah,
You know,
but
I
it
mean-
gives a designated cleanup area, pickup area, where then as waste management comes in to
But
pick up
you could be
garbage.
faced with, but you could be faced with too much of it. It's better not to encourage it, even though what's gonna happen if somebody moves out and leaves it, yes, they're gonna have to hire somebody to take it away. There's no question about that.
We hire truck removal services.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what was that, sir?
We'll hire truck removal services, like third party, they'll come and do that.
You know, the other thing is, when storage units aren't paid for, then there's storage unit auctions, and
Right.
you get, if you watch TV and you watch Storage Wars,
Yes. Is Barry coming to Merrillville?
huh? Yeah, I don't know.
To the extent that what the gentleman said is important, you may want to repeat it, because I don't think we were able to capture it back there.
Oh, regarding the fact that they use storage, third-party junk removal with regard to this. Thanks.
Okay, everything,
I think we need to ask if there's anybody in the audience, even though it's not a big turnout, because it's a public hearing.
well, it's open to the public. Anybody want to say something? Open to the public. Second time, third time, open to the public. Closed now.
Thank you
Nothing.
very much.
Thank you, Richard, for the reminder.
Thank you.
I didn't even realize. We're on a plan commission meeting, so. On that dumpster, I've got a question, though. I've been thinking about that. Now, who did you say would be picking up the garbage?
There would be a trash service for the office. There would be the junk removal service for the units.
Okay,
But-
so you're going to hire an individual corporation or company?
A local business that would be nearby and just come and
Okay,
buy and pick it up as needed.
okay.
You know, but that's gonna be the people who pay their rent, move out and leave something.
Sure.
But the junk, you know, the storage wars, you gotta take everything that's in it. That's the deal when you buy it at the storage
Well,
wars.
let me ask you a question.
That's only on TV, Richard.
That's all I-
That's only on TV.
Okay, my question is, okay, they rent a unit, all of a sudden, they're gone, they don't pay their rent. They left a lot of stuff in the unit. Are you allowed to dump that in the garbage, or
There's
do
a
you have to have
procedure
an
under
option?
the statute. There's actually a separate set of statutes just for self-storage units. And there's a procedure that they follow with regard to it.
Yeah, it goes under red lock and then it'll eventually move to auction.
Oh, okay,
So they'll have like a certain period of months where they're able to pay and we reach out.
sure,
You may
You know what?
You may have to go up to the
You need
podium,
come
sir.
up to the podium, because all of this is on the public.
right.
Hi, there's just a standard procedure where we'll lock them out of their unit under a red lock, and then over a certain period of time, when we've provided notice, they're able to, we'll actually put it under auction, so.
Just like I talked to you on storage wars. It's no different.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
So,
Okay,
sir,
board members, I think we've got everything.
Madam Chairman?
Yes, what is it, Brian?
I'd like to make a motion to approve P1, PP1 0324 with the caveats of the completion of the 18 points and the cleanup of the engineering.
Okay, motion on the floor by Mr. Brian Daring for item 1, P1, PP1 0324 with his certain points. How's that?
With the 18 points that are required.
The 18 points that are required. Do I hear a
And also
second?
the engineering.
And the engineering too.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any second? Motion. A second motion, please? Oh, Chris Mellon, you second?
No, Mr. Rich.
Oh, Mr. Rich, okay, Mr. Rich made the second on the motion for item 1P, 1PP1-0324. Okay, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Rich,
Yes.
Mr. Holtz.
Yes.
I myself am a yes. Mr. Daring,
Yes?
Madam President,
Yes.
Ms. Chandler Felton,
Aye.
and Mr. Pettit.
Yes.
Okay, all 7 have voted yes, so it looks like this has gone through, Richard, for your
Thank you very much.
new business, okay?
Thank you.
Good luck. Thank you for attending. Okay, continuing on with the agenda.
I can bring it up.
We have item 2, P2CP1-0324. This is a deferred item. Merrillville Residential LLC petitioner and Jim Alvarez as owner. Are they here tonight?
no, it's
No.
deferred.
Do we have to act on the, do we have to act on the deferral, Ricardo?
Yes.
Okay, motion to accept the deferral?
Did we have a formal request for a deferral?
Just
They
on
did.
the agenda?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
They didn't have all the information ready to go.
Okay, well, let me at least read the item. Merrillville Residential LLC petitioner and Jim Alvarez owner, located at 6901 Taft Street and 7031 Taft Street, requests conceptual planned unit development approval on 84.55 acres in a R1 residential zoning district. The purpose, professional office and residential. So we need a motion for the deferral?
Motion to discuss.
Okay, motion on the floor by Brian to
Second.
discuss, and second by Sean Pettit. Continue.
I think that they need to reach out to her. We said a lot of things, I know I said a lot of things last time. This is a subdivision that they are proposing that is so tight,
Yes,
and if it's next to what they indicated, because the question was asked, is going to remain a private golf course. And I don't think Barclay Village is what we're looking for in that area.
No.
And again, this is your ward. You know, we frequently defer to the councilperson of record. If this was super high-end luxury apartments and beautiful townhomes gauged for the 55 and older crowd with, you know, meandering paths and that, again, adjoining not only the golf course, but adjoining the public right-of-way on the bike path / walking path. I think they really need to step up their game. Now, I'm only one vote, so I cannot speak for everybody here, but I did not see what I interpret as the compelling reason to change an R1 to a PUD. PUDs are to benefit the town only, never.
You know why they did it, Brian?
Sorry?
You know why they did it. I brought it up at the workshop. Our R1 requires 100 foot of frontage on lots.
Oh, I
R2
know
requires
why they
80
did
feet.
it, yeah.
Their biggest lot is 40 feet.
Yep.
And Rick brought it up about where are you gonna put this lot? And what's your side yard's gonna look like? And where's the garage gonna go when you're jamming all this into all this acreage to maximize and get the most out of the money? Again, this is the
It's a
age-old
size 10
question.
foot.
Right, it's the age-old question of these developers trying to bring stuff into us so they can maximize their profit, and then again, as you said, Brett, we're left with this in 5 years. You know, is Jim gonna be around? I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna own the golf course in 5 years, who knows? He's done an outstanding job with Innsbruck, I can tell you that.
yeah.
Well, and I mean,
But,
when you look at,
you know-
look at Barclay Village, when was that approved? In the 70s.
Oh,
The
yes.
town was just getting going, you know, this was the wave of the future, but it turned out to be not a disaster, but less than desirable. People still park in the front lawns, even though they're not supposed to, because the streets are so narrow. I see the same thing in this gentleman's plan.
Well, and look across the west side, Brian, into Innsbruck's units, whatever they are, that's actually in Rhonda's area, Leona.
Okay.
You know, 6, 7, and 8, and we had a lot of people, and you drive through there, and those are bigger homes. There are bigger homes along, for those of you that are golfers, number 15, Chris.
Yes.
All those homes where Dave Barrick lives and Lloyd McClendon used to live, I don't know if he still has his home there. A lot of those homes in Brookwood are
Yeah.
still nicer, larger homes, larger lots. And to the south of this,
The
we're
Tony
gonna,
place to live.
yeah,
Yeah, and
Yeah,
they're
well,
right
Gary Country
close to
Club.
the golf course too.
yeah.
Beautiful.
But I mean, so you've got a private club, you've got ostensibly what used to be the trap range.
yeah.
That's where I learned how to shoot trap when I was a kid. And,
Boy.
it's absolutely an amazing piece of property if it is done correctly. I don't see, and again, I'm only one voice here, I'm not gonna speak for anybody else. I don't see where this shows any benefit to the town, it's only to benefit the pocketbook of the.
Well, in addition to your inquiry to speak to Leona, Brian, I would ask staff, Bob and Stephen and Sheila, have they, and he, unfortunately, well, here he is. Hey, Jim, come up, young
Oh,
man.
here he is.
Well,
Here's your
this becomes a vital layout
Okay,
issue.
go outside.
Jim, has anybody talked to you or Ed about this conceptual PUD south of Innsbruck?
I just saw some conceptuals today, but I didn't know, thought it was coming up tonight, so I was kind of hoping.
Well, they asked for a deferral, and we're kind of debating and discussing this again, as we did at the workshop. My concern for you and Ed is turning equipment around in the way they've got this thing laid out.
Yeah, I just saw the conceptuals, so there's no turning radius on those conceptuals. I have no idea what's in there, so.
Let me ask you another question, because Brian brought this neighborhood up. I wasn't in town when it was built in the 70s. What are your feelings about Barclay, you and Ed, the firefighters, about Barclay Village and the size of those streets?
We're gonna figure out what we're gonna do with parking then, because that's the number one issue when you go into Barclay Village, is there's parking on both sides of the street for us to get in there.
And getting your equipment in there in the event of an emergency?
Yes.
All right.
And
Thank
the maintenance of it, Sean, you know, Barclay Village, when we get in there to plow, I mean, there's cars parked everywhere, but there's nowhere to put the cars.
Well, maybe
I mean, there's nowhere.
Mr. Alvarez, did he request this deferral, Sheila?
No, I talked with Mr. Reardon.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Reardon, was.
Patrick, yeah.
Yeah, he's their consultant, so I
Sure.
talked with him, and I asked him, did he have everything? And not quite. So
Well, maybe that's
before
what
he
they're
did,
trying
he'll
to
make
get
sure that he
together.
reaches out
And Pat
to
understands better
Leon.
than anybody.
Right.
Had they come in front of us, and again, I won't speak for anybody else's vote, this was gonna get a very negative response from me.
Sure.
And if he gets voted down, he's stuck for a year.
Yeah.
And I was going to explain that to him, because as Ms. Uzelak brought up, they don't have an attorney of record appearing at the meeting, they've got Pat.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Jim understands the ramifications that should this receive a down vote, granted, it would have to go to the council, we only recommend to the council, but should it receive a down vote, he can't even reapply for a year.
Maybe he needs to talk to
No,
his
you
dad.
did explain that to him at the
But
last.
I didn't explain the down
Well,
vote.
somebody brought that up
Okay.
about the year wait.
And I wanna
I
make sure
remember
that he
that.
understands, what's going on here.
Maybe this is why Patrick deferred it too, to get
Yep.
certain
He
items
needs to
together.
talk to staff, he needs to talk to, engineering
Sure.
staff, he needs to talk to Sheila, he needs to talk to the council person of record.
Right.
And, I'm for deferring it, but, we needed this discussion because this is not, in my opinion, and again, one opinion, this is not, in my opinion, what a Tony subdivision, for lack of a better term, should be, bordering the same guy's owned private golf course and the best walking path in the region.
Yeah. Madam President, again, I'll make a motion to approve the deferral.
Okay, a motion made by Mr. Sean Pettit to approve the deferral. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second by Mr. Rick Holtz to approve the deferral for item P2 CP1-0324. Do I need a roll call vote, Attorney?
Yes.
Okay, roll call vote, please, Secretary.
Mr. Rich,
Yes.
Mr. Holtz,
Yes.
I myself am a yes. Mr. Daring,
Yes?
Madam President,
Yes.
Mrs. Chandler Felton,
Aye.
and Mr. Pettit.
Yes.
Okay, we have 7 yeses for a deferral for which we just discussed, the item P2 CP1-0324.
Madam President, not to delay the meeting any longer, but I think, again, we need, as planners of the town, we need to discuss this. Sheila brought an issue up to me, and I talked to Mr. Bella about this a little bit. Leona, this happens to be in your ward as well. This is on the north side of US 30. We had the Webb Hyundai build the new dealership on what was the old Great Wall Restaurant. They tore
Right.
that down. They have the existing Hyundai building there now, and they've approached Sheila and the town about putting in temporarily a Genesis car dealership in that building. Here's the hook. Here's the problem that I have as chairman of the Economic Development Committee. 2 things. Number 1, how long are you going to be in that temporary building? Well, you're going to be in that temporary building until your building in Highland is built brand new. Okay? Now, to the Webb family, and I know Craig's recording this, but I will tell the Webb family to their face the exact thing I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. We gave tax abatement to Webb Hyundai for that new building,
Right.
okay? And now you're going to temporarily use us and go invest in another community? No, that's not gonna fly with me, I can tell you right now.
No.
And Rick is not in favor of it.
I'm not.
Leona, I'll let you be your own judge, it's your ward.
No.
But, why aren't you could buy that, there's another building to the west of that one. Why not buy that building, tear that down, build the Genesis there? Then I would temporarily let you use the old Hyundai dealership while you're building new in Merrillville. I want that investment in Merrillville, and I think, I don't want to speak for Leona, she's, our neophyte council person.
Yes.
But I'm sure she would agree. Why are we gonna allow you temporarily to occupy a building while you're building a new building in another community?
And just like thumbing your nose.
Yeah, exactly. Thank
Yeah.
you. That's a
No.
good phrase. Yeah, and we gave you tax incentives to build your Hyundai dealership here. I don't know. Sheila, did I sum it up?
If not here, why somewhere else? Because I know that Genesis likes to differentiate and separate themselves from Hyundai.
Do
It's
they?
their high-end division. And they like to keep kind of like church and state separate. But if not there on a temporary building, why not somewhere else in Merrillville?
Yep.
And if you look at those,
I agree.
Genesis, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I'm just saying, I agree with that.
But you look at these Genesis dealerships, and again, for lack of a better term, they're pretty hot, they're pretty Tony. I mean, that's their high-end machine.
They
Well,
like
let
to
me ask
compete with
Sheila,
Mercedes and BMW.
did they move out, did Ziegler move out of the Subaru building next to, the oil change place? Is that dealership empty?
I don't think so.
Yeah, Subaru's gone,
Subaru's gone, because they built a new dealership in Cherville.
yes.
Trust me, I had to move a billboard for them. They wouldn't. So, yeah, they're on the north side by the MRI, by the,
Across from
Clarendale. Next to Clarendale in Cherville, they built that new Subaru dealership, so that's an empty building. And again, you've got an empty building by the old Hyundai, by, Dave Lasser's building, Lumber Liquidators and that, the Enterprise.
That one is empty, yeah.
So, why aren't you, again, looking in Merrillville?
There's a nice vacant piece of property over by Randy Hall in between the, what is that, the Lexus dealer and the.
And Acura, yep,
Acura
Sure.
dealer.
Yep.
There's some high-end cars.
yep.
Well, did
Exactly.
this,
Plenty of room to build in Maryland.
did they want to come on the agenda for next meeting or what?
No, they just wanted to be there temporary until,
I mean, they don't want to be on our agenda for this temporary,
nope.
Sounds like they've
oh,
made
they
their
just
decision.
think they're gonna walk into it or
They
what?
want me
Yeah,
to
that's what they
sign
think.
The thing where they can sell, cars that goes to the state.
Because they've probably already got their special exception for the old Hyundai dealership, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, see, they're just folding right underneath
They
it, so
can-
what they're doing to Chris and Rick and the rest of the BZA and the council, they're avoiding that step.
sure.
So they,
Because they're the webs, and it doesn't matter, we didn't specify probably, we gave it to that petitioner only for
Yeah.
that use only, but they're the webs, they're gonna say, well, gee, it's our building, we own the property, why can't we operate
It's
it
not
there?
Hyundai.
Well, I don't, again,
he said that they were, I have to call him
But
when
they
I get out of here,
probably
by
own
the
it.
way.
you don't need to call him, it's
Yeah.
7:30, you need to go home
So
and eat
they
dinner.
figured.
But he said that they're under the same corporation, and so, you know, we went
Same
back
corporation as what?
as the Hyundai and the Genesis.
They would be the
It's
first ones in
same
the United
thing.
States of America then to have the dealership on the same lot because Hyundai and Genesis are separate. They're owned by the same corporation, but anywhere you go in the United States, they are differentiated because they're high end.
Okay,
I know,
Did you go
I know
through
that.
the states to check this out, Chris, or?
you could find it anywhere.
Oh, okay.
You could go to the car show and they're not even there because they
No.
sponsor golf tournaments and stuff like that. Because like Mercedes and Jaguar, Lexus, they separate it. They want to be separated.
So then who's the person to tell them no?
Right now, it's me.
It has to be you, Sheila. So then we had a discussion on it, so you know what to tell them now.
yep, tell them you
You'll
took
have
it to
to
the
tell
town
them no.
planners,
Yeah.
and I guess in that aspect, you took it to the ward council person,
Right, and she
You know?
doesn't want it neither.
so,
Pretty good.
all right?
Not thumbing your nose at.
Okay,
Okay, Sheila, so you know what you have to do.
thank you, Mrs. Uselak.
They could give back their tax abatement. Then you could think about it.
Why should we think about it? When they're going to be moving to the other
Oh, no, if they gave
location?
back their taxes.
Oh, if they
Well,
get back.
that's,
They could sit there, is what he's saying,
Yeah,
temporarily.
but it's all
we'll see
temporary.
how it goes.
Okay, it'll
All
be
right, let
fine.
us know. I'll be curious.
Okay, so does this all end our
Motion to adjourn.
conversation? Thank you. Could we have a second? Second by Brian. Motion by Sean Bennett to adjourn. Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay, thank you.